promise.
Hi, welcome to episode 3 of the My Endless Wisdom podcast. I hope you're well. I've got a little bit of a juicy one for you today. I'm going to get into some hard topics, but let's just relax. Let's just hang out. And if you are an audio listener and prefer a visual, then come over to YouTube and hang out with me. We have a video going on over here. So yeah, let's just jump straight into it like usual. So I've had an interesting week this week, but not in a busy interesting way, more of I don't know, I can feel my brain developing and my perceptions of things changing and just events just aligning my views on things, which I think is really cool, because when you get older and you go through shit, it definitely teaches you a lesson, right? It teaches you a lesson in so many different things, and at the time you don't know that it's teaching you a lesson because it's an active trauma, right? But then when you go through something like that again, you already know the signs. You already know how to act differently in that situation. And I don't know, personally I think that's pretty cool. Honestly, I think that's pretty cool, because that's a part of growing up, right? Learning, changing, growing, and becoming a better person. Yeah, I had this kind of scary thing happen to me on the weekend, and I've been questioning whether or not to talk about it on the podcast, mostly for my own safety. I'm gonna hope that this person doesn't listen to the podcast, so I'm just going to be very, very vague about it. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned before on the podcast, maybe in the first episode, that I'm not really on dating apps at the moment. I'm not really looking, I'm not interested in dating. I'm very much just in the moment of filling my own cup and just living my life, and just pouring all of my love back into myself, because I've been really, really needing that, and I just feel a relationship would be a distraction, and it's just not something I'm looking for. And I've said before, I have my heart open, but I'm just not actively looking, right? So I'm not on dating apps. I'm not on dating apps. I'm not talking to anyone. I'm not doing that thing, right? I'm completely out of it. So I'm just gonna get straight into the story. I'm gonna try and be as vague as possible, but I'm gonna tell you the story. So last weekend I went out with my friends, and we went to this bar that we usually go to, and I already have my fucking issues with this bar already, and I'm not going to get into that today, but I already have my issues with safety and sort of this sort of thing before at this bar, so I'm already on guard. I already know how this shit goes, which is so unfortunate that we have to be like that as women. Yeah, so I went to this bar, and it was Battle of the Bands, so there was a few people from my high school that are in bands now, and they were playing, and we were on the dance floor and watching the bands play, and I get this tap on my shoulder, and I'm being directed to talk to this guy, and he literally walks up to me and is Maddie, I know you, you're Maddie, right? You're Maddie, blah 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 blah, and he's going on about something. And I'm who are you? And he tells me his name, and I can't hear him properly, so I was okay, go to the back of the dance floor, I can't hear you. And he tells me his name again, and I hear him, and I'm oh, right. And then he tells me that he met me on Tinder, and I'm thinking, I haven't had Tinder since before my last boyfriend. And so I haven't had Tinder since literally over a year ago, a very long time ago. I haven't been on Tinder for a while, right? So I instantly go into okay, what is going on mode, because he was a bit of he was giving creepy vibes, and I was low key okay, so right, his name, he says he's from Tinder, and I think for a second. So on Instagram, I get a lot of DMs from people who find my content, and most of the time it's the girls and the gays reaching out and telling me that they liked a video or something, or they liked an outfit, or just them reaching out and saying that they're in support of me, and for that I'm so extremely grateful for those people and for this space and being able to create for those people. But in this sense, putting myself out there, it does reach audiences and people that I don't really want it to sometimes. And yeah, so I do get a lot of like DMs from all sorts of people, and I usually restrict the people, or I put them in, there's like on Instagram, there's like a primary or like a general folder. So sometimes I'll just like, if I don't want to block someone, because I always feel like if you block someone, it's going to like give them ammunition to like, you know, want to know why you blocked them, you know, or like want to know why like you don't want to talk to them, sort of thing. Like every time I blocked someone, I just feel like fake accounts pop up and I'm getting DMs from all these fake accounts and shit, and that's even scarier. But anyway, so I usually just restrict them and put them in there and just ignore all of their messages, and usually they just like go away and it's fine. But anyway, so I sort of know like the top people that are still like actively messaging me. And yeah, when he told me his name and like he knew me from Tinder, I was like, fuck. So I literally grabbed my girls and I went into the bathroom and I checked my DMs, and sure enough, there was about 20 messages from this bloke, just all sorts of creepy ass messages, and him replying to stories, and just like, you know, lots of like creepy messages about like my body, etc. In that moment, it's so scary because like, I don't know this guy. I don't know him. I know that there is this guy's name in my DMs, but I don't know this guy, and it's so scary to me that like there's people out there that know who I am and like know me, like what I look like, and I have absolutely no idea who they are. Like that is really scary. I actively just avoided him the whole night, and I told all the people that I was with, and I like made lots of friends like throughout the night, and I also told them about it. This guy had audacity like to keep coming up to me and talking to me, and I was like giving him the back, like I was putting my back towards him and like completely blocking him from my conversation and just like not talking to him, and literally just like giving him like the fucking dirtiest look. It's just, I don't know, it's so scary, and the situation could have gone so differently. And I think like me a year ago would have like fed into the situation a little bit, and especially when I drink, I definitely don't like to be fucked with, and I very much have like a voice in that. I have no issue standing up for myself. I have no issue standing up for other people. I have no issue with like telling someone to fuck off. Like I'm very much like that. But like in this situation, it's like, what am I supposed to do? Because if I yell at him, or if I, you know, hit him or something, not that I would want to do that, but in that situation I fucking low-key like was like, how am I going to defend myself? And this is why I'm telling you this, because what do we do in that situation? It's so scary, like the thought of like what can happen from that. And luckily I was like with a big group of mates and everyone was protecting me, but still it's so scary, because if I were to defend myself, if I were to yell at him or whatever, then it would be my fault. It would be me. I over-exaggerated. Like, I hit the guy in the bar, or I cussed a guy out in a bar. Then I would be that girl. And it's like, yeah, I've just been thinking about it all week, because I've been telling people about it. And there's a lot of mixed, like, reactions when I tell people the story, because obviously when I tell girls, they're just like, what the fuck? Because as women, this is a very common experience, you know, whether you want it or not, you get like male attention, and sometimes it's, you know, warranted. Like there's nothing wrong with going out and meeting people and like flirting with people and stuff, but that is not okay, and that really scared the fuck out of me. But it's interesting that like a lot of men, like I've told a lot of men in my life about this story, and a lot of people, yeah, their opinions are a bit weird about it, because it's like, I wasn't doing anything, obviously. I was literally with my mates on the dance floor. I wasn't doing anything to provoke this guy to do this, and I've been getting told that like, oh, I must have been doing something for him to like come at me like that. I'm like, no. And they're like, well, you're putting yourself out on the internet and on dating apps, etc. And I get that, but if you're on a dating app, and I guess it goes towards this person's character, but if you're on a dating app and you meet someone, right? You get the Instagram or their number or whatever. You talk to them, it either doesn't work out, or in this guy's case, he constantly DMs me over like a course of 18 months, and I like have replied to probably 2 of his messages out of about 40 or 50, and which is like kind of scary at this point. Like, it's almost stalkerish, and this person thinks it's okay to come up to me and act as if he knew me. When he was talking to me, like, he literally, like, came up to me and was like, oh my god, like, Maddie, like, blah, 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 and, like, hugged me and, like, shook my hand and was like, and I, like, thought I must know this guy, right? I'm thinking, like, oh, maybe, like, I know him from primary school, or, like, I've met this guy at a party before. I've never met this guy before. I'm telling you the story because there needs to be more awareness about this stuff. You know, I don't think there's many straight men watching this, or men in general watching this. If you're out with women, you know, if you have a sister, a little sister, a daughter, you know, a friend, a female friend, you know, this is a very common experience for people to go through, for women to go through, and what are you going to do about it, you know? I hope that you're keeping a safe space for your friends to be able to come to you and speak to you about this, and I hope that you're, like, looking out for your friends, you know? And as women, you know, I want to have an open conversation about this, you know? What is it that we can do? Because I'm in this space where it's like, I actually don't know what to do, because I can't, you know, I don't want to have a weapon, I don't want to, like, do anything like that. And you can't have pepper spray and stuff like that. You know, should I take a self-defense class? Maybe every woman should have a security guard. Like what do we do, you know? And it's like, I don't want to not go out with my friends because some guy's gonna come up to me. And, like, it's honestly so sad that this happens literally, like, all the time. Like, not specifically that situation where, like, someone comes up to me and, like, knows me. You know, men thinking it's okay to invade your personal space. And as I said before, there's nothing wrong with going out and meeting people. It all comes down to consent. And a lot of guys get their fucking knickers in a knot because, like, you know, they'll flirt with a girl and then the girl will reject them and they'll be like, oh, you know, like, oh. And it's like, as I was saying before, I'm not really interested in a relationship. I'm not interested in, like, meeting someone, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I don't want to be, like, made a fool or, like, felt like I have to, like, flirt with someone just to, like to feel safe, you know, to, like, you know, them not, like, attack me or, like, you know, cuss me out in front of people. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just, like, it's a really tricky one, and it's a hard conversation to have, but I think it's a conversation that we have to have. We do, because it's getting to a point where it's like, I don't even feel comfortable leaving my house sometimes. Like when I go out, it's like, I said this in the last episode about, you know, drink spiking and me just being so fucking aware of that and, like, not wanting to put my drink down at all and just, like, almost not wanting to drink out at all. And then now this happening, it's just like, what am I supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? I just want to know. And as I've said before, this podcast is created to have conversations like this. I want to have conversations with women like this because these are the things that we have to talk about, and I think that we need to talk about this more. It needs to be more talked about and spoken about, and more awareness of this, because it's just not okay. I've had enough. I think I'm just going to start resorting to barking. I think I'm just going to start barking at men. And, like, maybe they'll go away. Like, if I just start, like, aggressively barking at them when they're, like, being rude and gross, then maybe they'll get the fucking picture. So, yeah, I think I'm just going to start blocking people. And as I said before, like, it's very scary because I've been in situations like that before where I have just blocked men and, like, you know, or blocked people and, like, not wanted them to, like, you know, have any way of contacting me, and then, like, fake accounts pop up, you know, the fucking accounts with no profile picture start following your stories and replying to your stories and shit like that. And, like, you know, I've had that situation with exes and stuff where I've just had them, like, restricted because, you know, it's easier to keep them, like, at a distance where I know that, like, okay, if they're looking at my stories, at least, like, I know that. And, like, oh, it's just, like, a psychological warfare, this thing I'm having at the moment. Like, maybe I should just get the fuck offline. But it's like, why do I need to, like, you know, get the fuck offline when this is, like, a passion of mine, you know? Social media isn't just, like, you know, some games to me. Like, this is, like, my passion. Like I love being able to connect with people through social media and doing this. And I had a lot of beautiful feedback on my last episodes of my podcast, and it warms my heart, and it reminds me like of why I'm doing this, and like why I like creating and why I like putting myself out there, because there's a community of women out there that, I just think it's so beautiful that we get to connect to each other this way, and I can be some sort of like, voice to you. I don't know. It's just a beautiful community that you can make online. And I just don't want to feel like I have to stop putting myself out there because I'm getting fucking stalked, Yeah, if you have any tips on that. If anyone wants to be my bodyguard, I'm looking for a bodyguard. Think I'm going into like a new chapter in my life, Spiritually, things just feel like there's a shift going on. I'm not at uni anymore. I'm doing a fine arts degree, but I've left because I just feel like I need some space to like pour my energy into like some other projects, and I love studying, don't get me wrong. I've been doing it online now for like 2 years, and it's great and it's been great, but I just think that my energy, I want to be able to put it somewhere else, and I can pick up uni like whenever I want. If I want to go back, that's fine, but I'm trying to like sort out a plan of like where I'm going. And I know a lot of people feel like this too. It's like, you get to that stage like in your early 20s and you're like, well, what am I actually doing? Like, is there a goal to all of this? Like, is there an end goal? Like, what is all of this for, And it's like this interesting space between like, you're not a kid anymore, but you're an adult. And like, I've just been really feeling the nudge to like, to get out, to move out of home and to be on my own. And I've always felt like I've been very independent in so many different ways. And I just feel like the reason why I've been dragging my feet a little bit and just been in the slump for like maybe a year now is because it's time to get out. It's time to get out. It's time to get moving, It's time to go to the city. That's my goal, to go to the city and to be able to do this in the city, and be able to collaborate with other people and just immerse myself in the culture in city and what is Melbourne, because every time I go up there, I can never want to leave. Like, I go up there and I like go out clubbing and shit, and I go out there for days and stuff, and, looking through all the shops and that, and it's just like, I don't want to go home. Like, I feel at home in the city, and I know that can be very scary to like a lot of the people in my life. They're like, we don't want you to be up there. Like, it's a very big city. It's a very big place. And as I was saying before about all the creeps, well, it's going to be worse up there. But my heart right now belongs there. I think that I will live in lots of different cities and lots of different places throughout my life. But I think Melbourne is like the first step, because I live in a small town right now, and I feel as though I've grown out of my small town, and that's okay. Like, I'm 20 years old. I've been here for a very long time, and I don't want to be here forever. And as much as it's a beautiful place and it served me very well throughout my life up until this point, it's time for me to move on. So yeah, that's gonna be something that's happening probably not in the near future, but within the next year or so. It's definitely like, in the plan. So everything that I'm doing now is working towards that goal, which is extremely exciting because, yeah, it's time to be a big girl. It's time to get my own apartment, have my own life without my family, and my own life without, like, this town, because, like, I don't know if you can relate to this, but my family have lived in this town for a very, very long time. And like my dad's side of the family, and everybody knows like my dad's side of the family, my dad and his brothers, and like, it's a blessing and a curse. If you're watching this, Dad, love you, thank you, we have a beautiful family legacy. But like, we live in a small town, so like my dad and my uncles have always played in like sports and stuff like that, and yeah, so there's just a lot of like community within my family, and I think it is beautiful because there is a lot of like backup, there's a lot of, every time I go to the supermarket, I run into someone that I know. Like, I know lots of people, and I love that. It's a blessing and a curse because it's like every time I go out, I'm running into people that I know, like good and bad. It's like, I think that's where a lot of my anxiety comes from, a lot of my social anxiety comes from, and like why I'm such a recluse. I think it's just I've grown out of this town. I think that's just like full stop, end of story. You know, it's like I think a lot of people do feel like that, you know, and this is just my message to you that, yeah, I know it's not easy to like pack up and move away. There's so many logistics of it, you know, and money and everything, and that's why I'm like, not in the near future, but soon. But yeah, this is my message to you, and a sign that, like, yeah, if you're thinking about doing it, just do it. There's nothing really, anything stopping you, you know. And I know there's so many reasons why you would think that you have to stay where you grew up, you know, like for the reason I was just saying, you know, being in such a beautiful place where I live, like it's such a beautiful part of the world, and also just the beautiful community that's here. Like, why would you want to leave? Why would you want to go? But it's okay to grow out of places, you know, because this is where my family decided to be, and I just don't believe that this is where I've decided to be, you know, for the rest of my life. And yeah, I don't know, it's just a weird space and time, and I know that a lot of people feel like that too, because a lot of people are like moving out and stuff. A lot of people have already moved out, some are planning to, some haven't, but like, you know, it's like you're starting a life outside of your family, you know, because you're an adult now, and not, you know, you're not a kid anymore. Like, you're your own fucking person, and you can do whatever the fuck you want, really, if you know what I mean. And that's the space that I'm creating now, and that's why I'm giving myself like a year to move, because it's a huge thing, you know, moving away from your family, you know, it's a huge thing. And I just want to make sure that, like, I'm just completely ready, you know. It's just like being organized, like I said, the logistics, you know. I don't want to just like on a whim pack everything up and move and not have anything, and then have to turn around and come back in a couple months, you know. And if I have to do that, that's fine, and if you do that, that's fine too. I've done that before. I moved to Queensland for 6 months in 2022. I think it's 2022. Yeah, I graduated high school in 2021. So 2022, me and my mum lived on an island in Queensland, called South Stradbroke Island, and we lived there for 6 months, and I still think about it all the time. Like, I miss it, but unfortunately humans can be like quite greedy and quite interesting when it comes to money and stuff like that. And the people that were, you know, I don't want to get into it because, like, I don't want to get fucking sued or fucking cease and desist, but there was just a lot of like logistics to the way that they were running things. And beautiful place, and you know, we've met a lot of interesting people along the way, and I do miss that. But I think it's because I miss it every day, because I loved just being able to like be in a completely new place, you know. I was in a new state that I've never lived in before. I was living on a remote island with all of these people that I did not know. And it was just like a really fun like experience, you know. It was a really fun time in my life, because I was just constantly learning, and that's how I thrive in life. You know, I can't sit still. I'm not a stay in one place kind of person. And like, I've somehow like fallen into like this weird trap right now where I've just like, I feel like I can't leave yet. Like, I don't have enough resources. I don't have my license. I don't have, you know, I can't just pack up and leave, you know. And it's like, I know a lot of people feel like this too, and it's completely okay. And this is why I'm telling you this, you know. If this happens to you when you're 20, if this happens to you when you're 30, 40, 50, it's okay, you know. It's life, you know. It's fine. Like, your time is going to come, and as I always say, you know, everything that you dream of and are planning of is already happening for you in the future. It's already happening. It's already going on. And like right now, you're just creating space to like get to that goal successfully and peacefully. And yeah, just like get to it like when you're ready, you know. And it's just reminding yourself that you do have that goal, you know, like the jobs that you are doing and all the time that you're putting towards certain things, like it is all meaning to something at the end, you know. It's all adding up to a goal at the end, because sometimes it just feels like oh, I'm constantly doing this, I'm constantly doing this, I'm constantly doing this, like, just feels like nothing's ever going anywhere. But it is going somewhere. It's just like not where you might think you want it to be yet, and that's why it doesn't feel like it's happening, but it's happening. So yeah, my little reminder to you that you are not stuck, you are not a failure. You have so much time to figure it all out, and like, you just never know like what's going to happen tomorrow, you know. And I think that is such a beautiful thing, because like, it's just I never want to say like, no, I can't do this or I can't do that, you know. I don't want to like put myself in a box of like I'm not able to do things, because there's just so many opportunities that can pop up and show up, you know, without you even thinking about it, you know. Like I said, tomorrow, I don't fucking know what's going to happen tomorrow, you know. Nothing might happen tomorrow, but everything might happen tomorrow, you know. And that's what we need to like remember, you know. That's what we need to remember. We need to remember that like literally anything is possible, you know. Just have a little bit of a positivity mindset, you know. Like, it doesn't have to be all of this like doom and gloom, and I get it, because I get like that too, and like I said, I've been in a slump for like the past year, because I'm trying to figure out, you know, where it is I'm going and that, and it's like, just remember like what you're doing this for, you know. And if you haven't found like what you're doing yet, and where you want to go yet, like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Just like try and find beauty in something, you know. Just try and find beauty in even just like the smallest part of your day. Remind yourself that like you are human, you are living, you are here right now. You are here right now, in this moment in time, on this planet right now. You are here, so you don't have to be doing anything else but being right here right now. You know what I mean? Like, there's the past doesn't matter, the future doesn't matter, nothing matters except what you're doing right now. So if you are like hustling and putting all of this energy towards your, you know, your future that doesn't exist, but you know what I mean, your goals and your dreams and your passions, then yeah, you're gonna make it, and you're gonna be just fine. And I fucking believe in you. I believe in you. You got this. We got this. So yeah, that's what I'm feeling right now. Like, it's this sort of like anxiousness, but it's not like bad anxiousness. I think it's good anxiousness, you know. I think I just finally got that kick up the ass that I needed from the universe. Like, stop sitting around, like, you know, let's get shit moving again, you know. Let's get the ball rolling again, you know. But sometimes I think that happens. I think as creators, or just as people, you know, as artists, you know, I love creating art in so many different like ways. Like, I love making videos. Videos is my passion. Making videos is my vice. It's my therapy. It's literally like the reason why I breathe. Like, you know, that sounds so weird. Like, honestly, I know that must sound so fucking weird, and it does to me too, because the reason why I started making YouTube videos, or videos on Instagram, videos in general, was because of fashion. Like, I love fashion so much, and I've always had, you know, my heart set in concrete with, you know, doing something in fashion, and I still am planning to do that. But it's like I said before, you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. You never know what the universe has planned out for you, and everything that you're doing is leading you somewhere, right? This is a whole journey. This is a whole experience, and everything that you're doing is leading you on this path. And so for me, my passion has always been fashion, you know, and I was like, okay, let's start making fashion videos. And then from that, it's opened this whole entire new world to me that I never even like thought of, you know. I always just thought of like having a YouTube channel, like making thrifting videos and like clothing hauls and stuff like that. And I still do videos like that, and I still love making videos like that, but like, I feel like it's just opened this whole new world to me, because I have so many different interests apart from fashion. Like, I love poetry and like mindset and the human brain, and just this whole universe and everything that we're doing, you know, like the stuff that I talk about on the podcast, you know. I just have like, you know, just like so many different interests. Like, I'm just like I've always said this, I'm just like a sponge, you know. I have all of this like knowledge and like ideas and creativity just like flowing through my veins, that I want to like be able to to give to someone. And I know I'm just like going around in circles, and I don't know if any of this makes sense, but I promise I'm getting to a point. I'm just a yapper, okay? I'm just a yapper, but I am getting to a point, and I am remembering what I'm saying. I do think it's pretty cool though how, like, you know, things just lead into each other, because, you know, when you're a kid, when people ask you, like, what do you want to be when you're older, and like everyone's always, you know, everyone has something that they want to be when they're young, you know, and I was always like doctor, okay, because I wanted to help people. And then I was like lawyer, because that's fucking badass. Like I had my heart set on being a lawyer for like a couple years there in high school. Like I was like, no, I'm going to be a lawyer. And then I really got into like, yeah, mindset and healthy mindset, and like what you can, you know, be doing to like to feed your brain in a healthy way, and to like be able to live life positively through, you know, just like your mindset and like in the way that you see the world, you know. And I then had my heart set on being like a support worker, like a counselor. I was like, that's pretty cool. I think I want to do that, because I've just always had this part of me that's always just wanted to like help people. Like I always talk about how like I fucking hate people and I love being by myself with my cat, but and that is true in so many ways. That is true, but at the end of the day, I actually do love people. You know, humans, we biologically, we are meant to be in communities and be together. I think it's pretty cool that how that side of me and the creative side of me that's always just been into art and to poetry and fashion and just creating like literally anything that you can think of. Like I love so many different parts of art, and I love how like art is literally like anything, you know. I do think it's pretty cool how you can like somehow, you know, along my journey, I've somehow managed to be able to combine the two, you know, and this is my YouTube channel. So yeah, this YouTube and creating videos has been my perfect way to be able to do all of that, you know, and it is different for everyone, you know, and I just really love doing this so much. Making videos is like my actual world. Like I'm not kidding. I know that sounds like so dramatic, but it is honestly, it's more to me than just, you know, getting views or whatever. It's just like the actual creating a video, you know. I am very interested in like making poetry videos at the moment, and just like making like a, you know, a video that has come from a thought, from an idea, from a moment in time, from a feeling that I've had, and being able to like turn that feeling that I have inside of me into a physical form of art that people can watch. That, like, it actually blows my mind. Like I know I'm harping on it, but it actually blows my mind. Love doing it. Like I just have such a passion for doing it, and like my upload schedule is every Sunday, so I work on a video for like the whole week, and it's like a little project, you know. It's like I'll have an idea, and then I'm like, okay, I've got 7 days to like build this idea, an idea that's literally nothing. It's just in the air, it's in the universe, it's in my brain, plucking an idea and creating it into something, and then, you know, giving it to you, giving it to the world, and posting it. And then I post it, and I get this feedback because it's reaching people. And it is a weird feeling, you know. It is a weird feeling, but it's a beautiful feeling. And everything does have a reason, like I always say. Life is a journey. Life is a journey. And someone told me, one of my mum's friends told me this a very long time ago, when I was pretty young. I think I was like starting high school. So, about like 8-9 years ago. And she told me that our generation, my generation, is so lucky that we are able to have multiple careers in our lifetime. Not jobs, careers. Multiple careers in our lifetime, you know. If you think about our parents or, you know, our grandparents, usually they'd stick to, you know, one career, one job. You know, they'd, you know, learn a trade or something, or, you know, do something at uni, and they'd usually, most of the time, not saying everybody, but most of the time, you know, they stick to that and they do that. And that's the thing, and there's nothing wrong with that at all, but that her saying that has always stuck with me, and it will always stick with me, because it is so true that we do have the ability, our generation, to be able to have multiple careers in our lifetime. And that's what I'm saying. Don't worry right now about like what is going on, because you don't have to pick one thing. You honestly don't have to pick one thing. You can do literally anything you want, and if you get tired of it and want to go do something else, then go do it. Go do what you're passionate about. And if you trip over and fall along the way, you'll get right back up again, and you're going to do it, and you're going to be so good at it. So go do the things that you're passionate about. Go have fun with your life. Fucking grab your life by the balls and go live it up. Go live it up. I want to see it, because that's what we deserve as humans. Now, the world is in a little bit of a mess right now, and I don't want to like get into politics on the podcast. I am still trying to figure out like what it is this podcast is sort of directed at. It is directed at the gays and the girls, and I want to be sort of a voice to you, to be able to remind you that you're not alone, and we're not alone in this life. But I also just like, I'm just trying to tiptoe around some subjects, because I feel like I said, I am a yapper, and I know how to talk, and I can talk about literally anything, but I just like want to be careful like what I'm putting out there on the internet. One, digital footprint, but also just like want to make sure that I'm spreading like a positive and clear message about the things that I'm talking about. And yeah, so I don't want to get too political, and yeah, I don't want to get too political, but I have been in like a rabbit hole lately just about all the things that have been going on right now in our world. It's kind of scary. It is, all of it is very, very scary. And it's also just weird to think like just little old me sitting in my room with a camera and a microphone talking about like grabbing life by the balls, when there's like a lot of serious shit happening out there. At the same time, you don't have to get wound up in it and caught up in it. Like I said, have acknowledgement for it, and you do your part the way that you feel is good for you. But like, just try not to get too wound up in it, because I definitely do. And social media really is like a scary place, and that's what I was saying before. It's like, I'm trying to find this balance with social media, because I really do love this creative space. Like I said before, I love the creative part of social media, and I love being able to make my silly little videos and have this community of other girls and gays and everyone making their silly little videos too. And for the most part, social media, that's what it was created for, right? It was created for that. But literally pretty much every single fucking person on this planet now has social media, and there's so many people on it, and there's so many opinions, and I do really love how as humans we just all are very different, and we all have different ideas and things. But I think that is our biggest strength and our biggest weakness at the same time, because like I just feel like social media is dividing us, because this thing that was created for people to just like go on and have fun and post your life and whatever you do, and is just turned into just this like really horrible place. Like I just see so much stuff on there, and I'm just like, what even is the point of it? Like, like it's just, I don't know, it might just be like now, and I feel like they are trying to know that like the social media platforms and that are like actively like changing their algorithms to sort of like make sure that serious and like political content and stuff like that is just sort of like monitored a little bit more, and just like, yeah, like I said, there's just so many people on there now. There's all sorts of crap on there, and like I said, I love social media for the creative and the social aspect of it. I love being able to see like what my friends are up to, fellow creators and stuff like that. But it is overwhelming sometimes when you're just bombarded with all this political fucking bullshit. It's hard to explain, because it's like, obviously you don't want to be like so far away from it that you don't understand what's going on, because it is something that we do have to understand as people and as humans in the society that we are living in. We have to know these things, we have to understand these things to be able to make a sound judgment based off our own beliefs and morals and everything, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's about having like a finger's length from it, it's about like understanding and knowing like your point of view in it. I want to get like, this is why I don't like the news, and my dad, again, sorry dad if you're listening to this, I hope you're not, but if you're listening to this, like my dad is obsessed with the news, God love him. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know. It is good to like know what is going on in the world and what is happening, but for me personally, watching the news every day like actually like hurts a part of my soul. Like it hurts a part of my soul. And like I said, I like being connected, I like knowing what's going on, but when you're constantly faced with, you know, just all of this negativity, because I just feel like the news there's never anything positive on it, you know. There's never like anything remotely positive on there. It's just like this person's died. What I'm trying to say is just, yeah, there's nothing wrong with social media. I just do feel like social media is getting to a point where it is kind of disrupting a lot of us. You know, I might just be talking for myself, but I do see a lot of people talking about this, and people are finally like waking up to it and realizing it, that we're all so busy fucking stuck in our phones, and sometimes forget like what is actually like happening. And yeah, I'm just reminding you to, it's, you know, take a break sometimes, you know. Nothing wrong with having a nice doom scroll and seeing what everyone's up to. But for me personally, like I will delete Instagram, TikTok off my phone for like a week at a time, and then like I'll get it back and whatever, and I post my shit, and like I'll log into Instagram like on my computer like once a day or whatever, to check messages and that, because a lot of people do like communicate with me on there. And like if I've got a new YouTube video coming out, whatever, I'll post the link for that. But yeah, I just don't feel the need to always have it on my phone, you know, because if it's on my phone, I'm gonna open my phone, I'm gonna fucking scroll, I'm gonna scroll for ages. I feel like a lot of people are like that, because it's so easy to just go, you know, I'm just gonna sit here for a second and scroll through Instagram. Okay, an hour later, okay, I found like a topic now that I'm like invested in, so I'm gonna go on TikTok and search that up. Oh, now I'm gonna go on YouTube and search that up. Okay, now it's bedtime, and I didn't get anything done that I want to do, you know. And it's just like, it is a very normal thing. And like I'm saying, this social media thing is very, very new to all of us, and I do feel bad for like the generation younger than me that are coming through now, because my generation, you know, we have lived in a time like without social media, you know. Social media sort of came through like when I was about like 10, I got my first iPod, you know. My mum like and dad always had like button phones, flip phones and that, like, you know. My mum didn't get a smartphone, oh my god, up until I was like probably like in high school, you know. So my generation has lived a life without social media. We know what it's like to not have it, and I do feel really bad for the generation coming out. And I am glad the government now is like realizing this and doing stuff to like, you know, be a little bit more aware of what kids are seeing on the internet. But yeah, I do feel bad for the kids growing up now, because I don't know, I got seeing a lot of stuff, and I just feel like there's so many kids and young girls that are just you know, actively on social media and posting and stuff. And I don't know, it's just I know it's a very controversial subject, but I just don't think that I just don't think that children should be on social media, period. I don't think that kids should be on social media, period. And this is coming from, like I said, when I was a kid, that there wasn't really like the social media and the internet and that it wasn't as accessible as it is now. But once it started to be, my parents didn't know how to actively like secure us and guard us from what was on the internet, you know. And that's not their fault. I don't hold that against them, but I saw a lot of shit on the internet that I didn't need to see, you know. And as a young kid and having social media, so yeah, I do feel bad for kids, because there's a big wide world out there, and not everything has to be social media. Oh, like, I know you're probably thinking, okay, Maddie, like, you just went on a huge rant about how you want social media to be like your career and passion and that. But I don't know, I think it's different though, because I'm an adult and I get to decide that I want to be a creator. And for me, I have these two things for social media. So it's creating and consuming. So consuming is you scrolling through your social media, you're watching videos and that, you're consuming media, right? Whether that's even on the TV or whatever it is, you're consuming media. If you're creating media, you're the one posting the content that people are watching. So there's two things in that, because I've been really trying to not consume more than I create. That is very much my rule right now. Don't consume as much media as I'm creating. I want to be creating a lot more than consuming, because like I said before, it is my passion, it is my everything to like be out here creating, and I just need to, it's just a reminder to everyone to take a break, go touch grass, go read a book. I know I've been rambling on tonight. I'm just in like a really good mood and just like felt like I had a lot to share today. But yeah, I will get on to my segments that I usually do weekly. So I've got my top 3 songs. Honestly, like a weird combo this week, but I feel like it always is a weird combo. So I've got for my top 1, this is so fucking random, Hot and Cold by Katy Perry. Okay, why? I can't tell you why. Actually, maybe I can tell you why. Trisha Paytas, I think I deserve to be sponsored now, because I think I've brought you up in every single podcast episode that I've done. Trisha Paytas was in the new Katy Perry music video, and like honestly, I don't really care that much for Katy Perry. Like her older songs like were slay, but like this new song was horrible. Like let's be honest, this new song was fucking horrible. But I watched it because we love Trisha Paytas, and so I watched it. And it just like kind of like fueled me to like go back and like listen to like those OG songs, like when she was popular back in the day, like Hot and Cold, like her first album and everything. So I added her like first album to my playlist, and like Hot and Cold came on today, and I was just like bopping away to it. I was like, hell yeah! Why as a society did we forget about this song? Like this song, hell yeah! And my second song I have is Custer by Slipknot. Told ya, weird combo, don't know why. Oh my god, this song, I've always loved Slipknot. I mean, I've always had like a love-hate relationship with Slipknot, and I don't really know why. But like, I will always be like obsessed with it. I know that Custer is like, fucking such an obvious song for Slipknot. It's like one of their biggest ones, but I don't know. I've always had like a weird love-hate relationship with Slipknot. Like when I was younger, like at 13 and that, I collected all of the albums, and then I gave all of the albums to my brother. Like I was like, nope, I do not listen to that anymore, and then it just goes in between. But as I always say, I'm a chameleon, so the things that I like always change. Like everything that I like is just a huge combination of everything. Like that is just me. I love literally parts of everything, so yeah, that song is slay. That song is girly pop, though. Honestly, go listen to that song. Like that's Slipknot's most girly pop song. So, and then third we have Woman by Little Sims and Cleo Sol. So this song is like, just go listen to it. It's so fucking funky. I've like literally been obsessed with this song for so long. I discovered it when I lived on that island in Queensland. Like I was just going through like a phase of all of this sort of like, I don't even know what you would call it. It's sort of like, I guess it's like R&B. Like it's like a weird genre. Like Green Tea Peng, for example, she's one of my favorite musicians like of all time, but like her genre is very like, it's so unique to her that you can't really like pinpoint like what it is. Like I would say that she's like a psychedelic R&B artist. Like that's how I would describe it, because it's very like psychedelic, but it's also R&B. Like it's not like too like it's also jazzy a little bit, like the vocals and everything, and there's a bit of rapping in there and stuff. So yeah, like this artist Little Sims is also like sort of like that genre, if you can kind of feel me, like a little bit of R&B, a little bit of jazz, a little bit of like psychedelic, it's a little bit of like, it's just like hippie vibes. It's just like grooving. So yeah, that's my top 3 songs for the week. Top podcasts are the same. Like I said, I'm not even going to have that as a segment anymore, because every week it's Josh Trish and cancelled. And well, I haven't found a podcast to replace Dropouts yet, because I had a 3 rotation. I had cancelled, Josh Trish, and Dropouts podcast on rotation, but I've fucking cancelled. Cancelled Dropouts. I do not want to listen or watch or even like see it like on my thing anymore. So if you have a podcast that you think is groovy, then send it my way, because I want to add another one to the rotation. I know I just said that I want to create more content than I consume, but I do love a good podcast. And the reason why I love podcasts so much, because, you know, especially like the ones that I listen to, like Just Trish and Cancelled, and it's because specifically Cancelled, I can put it on and I can do my work and all my Depop stuff and whatever it is that I'm doing, and have that on in the background, and it really just feels like, you know, like this. It's a conversation, you know. It's a lighthearted. We can talk about hard stuff and shit stuff and good stuff, whatever, and like you don't really have to take any of it. You know, you can take all of it with a grain of salt. It doesn't have to be that serious. And that's why I like podcasts, because it's long form content. I love long form content. I feel like people are just so into TikTok and like the quick like 10-second videos now that we've forgotten like the art of YouTube. Like, it's just, I've always loved like a long video. Like, I just love it. I think that's why I like Grey's Anatomy so much. Again, to get onto Grey's Anatomy, but I think that's probably why I like it so much, because there's 20 seasons. I can literally just like watch it over a billion times, and it just never ends, sort of thing, you know. And that's why I like podcasts and long form content, because it's like 2 hours of people talking. Okay, so we're getting towards the end of this episode. I've been yapping for so long. I'm so sorry. Add a new little segment in at the end of this episode. So now, at the end of every episode, I am going to give you a word. So I've got a dictionary for audio listeners, and you're not watching me right now. I got a dictionary the other day in the op shop, and the reason why I got this was because I want to like expand my poetry. I want to have like different words in my poetry, and I think it's just always good to like learn new words, you know. So I'm just going to flick to a random page and pick a word that I don't know and read its meaning, and I want that to be your word of the week. Okay, so this is your word for the week. I'm going to spell it to you, and then I'm going to say how it is pronounced. So it's Hedonism, and it's pronounced hedonism. And the definition of hedonism is belief in pleasure as the highest good and mankind's proper aim. The second reason is behavior based on this. It's a Greek word. I'm saying, I've never like heard of that. It kind of sounds scary. Like, I hope that doesn't like mean anything bad. Hedonism. Hedonism. There you go. I'm going to be thinking about hedonism a week now. So yeah, that's your word. I thought that would be a fun little segment to put in there. I don't know. I just love learning new words. Now I'm going to be thinking of that word a week. But yeah, hedonism. There you go. That's your word for the week. Anyways, we're coming towards the end of the episode. Thank you so much for being here. I know I get so mushy at the end of the episodes, but honestly, it is just a dream to be here, and I just love doing this. And thank you guys so much for the feedback on the last episodes. I see it, and thank you so much. I love you guys so much, and thank you for creating this space for me to be able to talk freely about, you know, whatever it is going on in my life. And thank you so much for creating this space for yourself, for both of us to connect in a positive light. You know, I want this to be a safe space for both of us. So thank you so much for having an open heart and yeah, listening to me chat. It's a really beautiful thing we've got going on here. So thank you so much. And yeah, as always, I will see you next Wednesday. Thank you so much, guys. I will see you then. Lots of love always.